It never wants to fit.
No. I know this.
It's worth a try, right?
Is this me?
No, we moved. 'cause
No,
we-
you're right here.
Yep, you're right there.
Oh, I used to have to
We
share
should.
because Jan smacked me around. Now I have to.
Oh.
Yeah, Ray, this is number 28 for you too.
Huh?
I was just trying to think,
Good card.
you joined the year before I did on the planning commission, right? And I think it's 28 for me.
28?
I think, yeah, cause my. Well, this. Okay. Cause Mikey was a year old and he's 28. So he's on 28.
I think I'm longer.
Great, yeah.
I think I'm longer.
Thank you so much.
I'm not sure.
They
just, he'll be
John
there.
Major was for the chair, you know,
Yeah, that's actually way better.
I don't know.
Just go ahead and pass.
I know, I was trying to figure it out the other day too, and I'm going, I remember John Major was the chair. And Bob Peters was there, so it's gotta be
Oh,
28 years, I think, that's my 28th year, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
So it'd be more for you then, you said, because you were here when you were. I knew something. Oh, yeah. Remember when you do this, have this, and it's not right, and you publish this, so I do
It's me.
It's a first.
I'm always freezing and then I'll. The joy.
By the way.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm Tammy.
Tammy, I'm
Nice
Sean.
to meet you. Nice
Good to meet you.
Email, we're gonna talk, by the way,
I didn't.
don't ever let me email on cold medicine. I was trying to send it, I sent it like 3 times, like, I looked the next day and
Hi,
went,
Mary.
the only thing worse than this.
My
is I
old
was on
friend.
it.
I followed you.
Oh, really?
It's like I was reading it and then I started reading the paper and I was like, wait a minute, it's the same. And then I was like, oh, but there's more.
I needed a whole
It's
year
just
to recover and I'm finally out.
And the draft, yeah, like, I look like an idiot. I was like shocked about that.
Larry out.
At the time,
I
was
respond.
just had surgery this week, so. I could bring.
Well, I have a lot of respect for you.
Well, thank you. Like I say, I'm glad everything's working out great. Sounds good.
Yeah.
7 p.m. David, would you please follow
Lawrence Oswald,
here?
Dustin Johnson. Here. Ray Jacobs,
Here.
Tamara Jacobs,
Here,
Patrick Matthews,
Here.
Jamie Rhodes,
Here.
and our liaison is missing.
So I'd like to welcome Jamie Rhodes back to this commission. Thank you for agreeing to come back and serve with us. Do we have any vacancies now?
We do, we have one vacancy for Ruth because she's fulfilling her previous four-year term. And that'll finish out in 2029. And then we have Bruce full term because hers was up February 28th, just last week, so she'll be ready to, that's an open vacancy for 4 years.
Do we have any applications?
Not at this time, is anybody coming? No.
Okay. So we are at officer elections.
I am of the, if any order, don't fix it, if anybody else, I like to rank where you are, anybody else, does second that? That's what I join.
So we have a motion. Any other nominations? There being none,
I would second the motion.
Okay, so just to be clear for record, the motion is to keep Larry Oswald as chair
Yes,
Dustin.
and Dustin.
and Dustin as vice chair. Okay.
Sure, we can go home now.
been moved and seconded, all those in favor,
Hi.
opposed, motion carries. Since we have a forum, let's move to the approval of our planning commission minutes. And this was several months ago, so October 2nd. So any changes, recommendations?
Not that I remember from that one.
All right, there being none, we have a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Wait a second. Great. Second,
I'll second.
Thanks.
it's been moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so we have public comments. And I'm gonna read this, even though there's nobody here. This is the time reserved for citizens to address the planning commission on matters related to city government and be recognized by the planning commission. Consideration, this is limited to 5 minutes for each speaker. The purpose of the citizens hearing period is to provide citizens an opportunity to be heard by the planning commission on issues not on the agenda. There is one thing that's not on the agenda. and that-
I'm sorry, I apologize. As for the minutes, I'm just looking at them. The date is wrong. It says that they're for October 2nd, 2025. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then it says down below, approval of planning commission from May 1 of 20, is that the gap? That was the gap. We have May
Yeah,
to October and that. Okay, I apologize. Excuse me.
Point of clarification. So, we'd like to introduce Sean Lewis, city manager. Would you like to read this? Is that?
No,
Yeah.
I'll give a little speech and then we'll go from there.
All right.
If that is okay with the chair.
That's, you're being recognized.
Okay, thank you. So first off, I want to apologize. I should have been here long ago. I have been the city manager since May, and this is my first opportunity because you met once in May and I didn't make it to that one. And then I had a conflict on your October one and you haven't met since this. This is really the first opportunity in almost a year that I've had to come visit with our planning commission. And so, mostly I'm here. I know I met several of you in various capacities, but I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Sean. I'm the new city manager. I work right over there and we're here. My background is as a city planner. So I grew up doing what Megan does and she does it a lot better than I ever did. So, we're good there, but you have a basis, or I have a basis in what you guys do. I've spent many nights at planning commission meetings in different capacities, and so I have an appreciation for what you guys do and what you're asked to do. I come from the state of Utah. I'm new to Oregon, and so I don't have a full understanding of the nuances of Oregon planning. but we're getting there and we're trying our best to make sure that we're following the law. What you have in front of you is a letter that I wrote to our staff last May. And this is, while you are not considered staff, you are volunteers and you do represent the city, in what you do. And so this was just what my expectations are for staff as a city manager and what some of my expectations are for volunteers. And you can read through this, but I want to make sure that we know that we are supporting each other, that we're communicative with each other, that we're ethical with each other, that we are abiding by the laws and rules of the state of Oregon, that we're positive, right? I want a positive workplace, a positive environment, right? We can't work when we're backbiting or we're snipping at each other. There will come times, and I've seen times where planning commission members will disagree with one another. That's fine. You can disagree, but at the end of the day, we're all part of Team Tillamook, right? And that's the message that we're trying to get across, is that we all represent the city. We all have a goal for the city to be better at the end of the day, right? So let's work together and figure out where we can compromise and where we can look to make things better for the residents who live and the guests who come to the city of Tillamook. We have shared guidelines, we solve problems respectfully, and most importantly, whether you know it or not, you are ambassadors for the city. When people talk about the city of Tillamook, they don't talk about the city manager, they don't talk about public works, they don't talk about the city council, they use the phrase, the city. The city said this, the city said that, or someone at the city said this, or someone at the city said that. You are part of that, right? So remember that you represent the city in all that you do. And so we want to make sure that, you live your lives in such a way that we can be proud of that association that we have with everybody. And we want to represent the city in a way, and I want to represent the city in a way that nobody has any question about what we're doing is above board, we're transparent, we do things with integrity, and that we do things quote unquote the right way, right? We never want to have accusations of malfeasance or inappropriateness with anybody or anything in anything that we do, right? As chair, I expect you to treat the public with respect, and everybody has a voice here. This is a safe place where people can come, ideas can be expressed, and at the end of the day, we go home and we're not mad at each other. The last thing I ever want to do is have to call one of our Tillamook's finest police officers to come and break up a fight that happened at the planning commission meeting, which I have seen. So, you don't have to sign this at all. This is not anything that you are bound by. It's just, I want to make sure that all of our boards and commissions know what I expect and how I expect my staff to live as city manager. And I think if we can all agree to these same types of ideals, we will all get along just fine. I also want to make sure that you all know the city council, you're appointed by the city council, we're aware of what happens here. You may not see me at every meeting, right? But we know what happens here, and we respect what you do, and there are times when you may do something that the city council doesn't like, if there's something that goes to that level, right? Sometimes we just have to live within the bounds that the law sets. We may not like approving a project, but we have to approve a project because it meets the code. And if it meets the code, we're there. If we don't like the code, we are free to change the code. Megan is currently leading an exercise at staff level to bring code changes to this body and to the city council to make how we run our city day to day better. That includes the planning code. That includes things that you guys work on. So I open this up. If any of you have a question or something that you need, my door is open, my phone number is available. You can call me, you can email me, and we'll be happy to talk about it and chat it out. Tammy, I don't recognize, but
No, my question was, in the past, the commission has had a role in updating and tweaking and changing our ordinances and the zoning for everything. Periodic review, whatever, we're just not in the loop anymore, or what?
Nothing's been changed.
No, there hasn't been anything to change, and that's what we're doing now, right? So
Changed in the last 10 years.
a lot of that has been state driven, right? And as we update our codes, we follow what the code says we have to do, right? So stuff that does have to come before the planning commission, we will bring to you. Generally, the way that process will work is staff will work it out, bring a recommendation to this body, let you wordsmith it a little bit and see, do you like this direction or do you like that direction? We will bring you generally options or what is best practices in the state or in the nation, right?
Right.
We will bring you what we think is best. You have a chance to say, no, we don't like that. We wanna push that back to you. And
Well,
then it
that
comes
way
back
we
to us.
know it.
Yeah.
Too. That way it's not just something that came to us on a piece of paper, it's something we had a hand in.
Yeah.
Because I've been in a meeting before and brought up something, well, that doesn't fit the code because of this
Mm-hmm.
policy, and they're like, oh, no, that changed last week, and I'm like, well, the heck, nobody told us.
Yeah.
So we can't, we don't know that things are changing.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to expect it to know that and apply it.
Well, and a lot of things happen. I believe in having a code. A code is a living document, right? It's never complete, it's never exact. There's always going to be contradictions. And the goal is to reduce those as best we can. I don't like writing policy that we have to enforce. Policy is for internal things like how we accept an application, not how we regulate. Well, how we regulate should be in the code and will be in the code. And that's where you guys have say in what that looks like, because you are the voice of the community as it relates to planning in the built environment in the city of Tilton.
But we've been, our role in doing that, and I'm just, my opinion, I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but it has been reduced a lot over just the last, I'd say like a decade, maybe. Maybe, maybe two city managers ago. But it's just been less and less, and we've reviewed less and more things are done administratively.
Mhm.
And, I mean, look at, I mean, I know that things have been slow, but 2 meetings in 8 months is ridiculous. I mean, it can't be that slow. So, and I brought this up before about, we used to determine what things we wanted to review, what things we wanted to come before us. And staff's job was to get that in order, have the things that we need to make those decisions. And now, and I'm not saying it in a negative way at all. Megan does a lot more stuff administratively and we see a lot less, and I'm not a fan. So
And
that's
I appreciate
state
that.
regulated and then we have to do it that way, or is that something that staff determines too?
Megan can speak more to the history of that over the last 10 years than I can. I've only been here 8
I
months.
mean, I know you're scared, but I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
Let's do this, I understand the exchange and I understand we need to know these kinds of things, let me just say a couple of things. I appreciate this letter. We have been meeting for quite a while, many months, years, and I'm pretty proud of this commission, we've done a great job.
Yeah.
People get to speak their minds,
Yeah,
they're not afraid to say what they need to say. Sometimes we need to be reminded from time to time, we're not sharing too much personal information because this is recorded.
yeah.
So, that said, again, I'm very happy to report that we've had a great run with all of these folks here. And dedicated folks trying to solve the problems and make sure that we do a good job.
And to be fair, Mr. Chair, this is not an address to come to this.
Oh, no,
planning
no.
commission and say that you're doing anything wrong.
We have done
Yeah.
a great job. Now, two things. Megan, as Tammy was asking, I'd like, and I'd asked you to, before when we were setting up the agenda here, to elaborate a little more on what you do administratively when you get to the fourth time. Okay,
Yes.
so we'll handle some of that. She'll be able to clarify a little more about why. And if there was anything that changed or if it hadn't changed, that's very important. Another note that I'll make now, rather than waiting for announcements, is we have to make sure we do the Ethics Commission report, and that's gonna be coming up for all of us sometime second week, I think it's either the 13th and 14th. It's usually after the second week in March. Cause we got a notice to come out and do that, but nobody can fill out the report until they are ready for us to do that, so.
Right.
All right,
So to answer your question as far as anything that's changed, the last known change that we have is in May. When we last met prior to October for the middle housing code changes. The only thing that changed in that is that they're now allowing, and we went through that whole process with our consultant. We had 3 meetings to discuss the changes in those. And we also had a meeting with council on your guys' recommendation, and there were things in there and alternates that you could choose based on the state recommendations of you could do this or you could do that. We went through 3 meetings of that. I believe you might have been absent for 1 or 2 of those meetings, so if you didn't get all the information, it was because maybe it was because of absenteeism. But as far as the code changes, those were voted on by you and made a recommendation to council. So at that time, you had those 3 meetings to make those changes. Nothing's been changed since then. As far as what gets driven, that's have not changed since I've been here since 2020. So anything as far as how applications get driven are all out of the code in 152.004. All of our stuff is codified, so if you go on our website, you can see how applications are driven. Most applications, when they're doing review for like commercial, as long as it fits under the 50% threshold and it's not more than 10,000 square feet, it can be reviewed administratively. That's something that you guys put in place as the commission, so those are the rules that I follow. As far as middle housing code, the only thing that changed where you guys don't review anymore, everything now for middle housing can go through a zoning permit. They could be for housing,
What was the code section?
152.004.
That's
Application.
not listed on the city's website.
Probably in change. Being as
Because it's 151.
Can we go ahead and put it up on the screen? We can show everybody how to get there.
It goes 151 and then 153.
I'll pull up the website and just tell me if it's for you, like for me to.
If you go to American Legal,
Oh, I'm looking at the city buildings.
yeah, so we're on the city webpage here, and then if you go to government, there should be under city council, I believe it has all of the, you can even go
I have
to
it
the
under
planning page.
planning code ordinances.
Yeah, you could go to the planning page of this. Yeah, we can't get to it, but, no. But city council also has a turn, yeah, code of ordinances. So if you go to 150, go down to land use.
And that looks different than the link that's under planning.
Or something.
Yeah.
I was trying to. 151.
Yeah, so it goes 150, 151, 152. It might be under an old, are you under an old link or an old website?
No, I'm on the city's website
Okay.
and I'm just under the planning. So if you click on planning rather than
Are you able to get there if you?
I'll
move
put
up
them on search.
council more? Well,
Anyway, I wasn't trying to,
this is good for you guys to
so
know.
much as, I just think, I just feel like if it's a legal thing and legally they don't have to come to us, then I understand that. But as I said in the past, we determine, well, we'd like to see these sorts of things. We'd like to review these sorts of things through commission, and we actually had a say in that, and I get that the laws change and, you know, if somebody comes in with something that doesn't have to come before this, and I totally agree that, I get it.
Mhm.
It just feels like
But I'm,
just so little that we actually do.
yeah.
Compared to so much that you do.
And the second part of that too is look at the economy we're in.
Yeah.
I'm not getting applications. Matter of fact, nobody has taken advantage of the middle housing code that we passed 6 months ago or 8 months ago, except for one person with a mid-block duplex or a corner duplex. Other than that, there hasn't been anything. People just don't have the money and also,
The east side.
yeah, with the sewer issues, that's really putting the bog down. I mean, people are able to connect if they can mitigate, so we've kind of found a loophole for that. Like if they fix a manhole somewhere else and mitigate to offset the capacity they're gonna add to our system. We've allowed that. We've allowed septics in the UGB, not in the city, but in the UGB. So there's things we're trying to do to still get housing on the ground. But yeah, a lot of the bigger projects, They just don't qualify for your guys' review. I don't, even if it's questionable, I still send it to you guys, but I'm not even getting those. So it's not like I'm just doing stuff without you, because I want your input. I don't want it to have to be on me. I would rather shovel things off, but at the same time, I have to follow code and I can't push off something unless there's really something in there that's sticky that I don't wanna make the decision on.
And that's all I was
Well,
saying. I understand there's other issues, but
let's, let me make a suggestion. Do you have any questions about something that comes up, something?
oh, I was over a lot.
And I would suggest either one of these two would be a good place to start. And then at some point, maybe we can talk about if there is something that you believe maybe something that the planning commission could have reviewed, you may want to bring it up, even though you completed it administratively. That, no, this is what happened as part of your monthly report.
She done.
But let's do one thing. Let's get back on task here and let's go to the public hearings. We have none, no quasi judicial, no legislative, and there is no new business. So now we're on non-agenda items, and Megan, if you'd like to go through your monthly report,
Sure.
update us on all of those things and highlight, please, all of those things that may be interesting to the planning commission.
So we had a slow month in January and February. It's starting to pick up now. I was out for a week sick, and when I came back, my desk is stacked about this high with all permits that came in all at once. A lot of it is school district stuff from the bond that they had. So we've got a few coming through shortly for, once again, they met that threshold. So we have 2 gyms, one going in at junior high, one going in East School. And they're just gymnasiums, but they meet the parking requirements. They meet the other things. One thing I did notice is that on Facebook, because I watch Facebook, I don't ever comment, I just watch, because I want to see what the public's saying, because a lot of times they don't show up to these meetings. And one of the things is the traffic on Alder for drop-offs. And I thought, guess what? I have an administrative review going for these 2 new gyms, and I'm going to address that. So I'm going to have them elongate their parking area to go in front of the modular where they pull off to go to baseball at East. So that way it increases more laneage there. I talked to Jay Maru over there, and he's going to fit that into the plan. So hopefully that will help alleviate at least some of the traffic. I think he calculated an additional like 800 feet that'll help with getting traffic off.
Is that something that the public knows?
Yes, so
Don't they?
So under
Can I put it on
administrative,
Facebook? No, just kidding.
no, not yet,
I'm not.
not yet, nothing's come to me, we've only done a pre-app, so that's where it was mentioned. But when they go to submit their full packet, that'll go to administrative review, which everybody within a 250-foot radius is gonna get noticed. You will, because you're over on Williams, possibly if it fits that, because you're quite at the end there, but once that goes out, that'll get noticed, the site will get noticed, and then that's when we take public comment.
You'll be very popular. That's a really big.
Yeah,
area.
it's not gonna alleviate everything, but it'll alleviate more than what's there now. I saw the backup and how far it is, and I live on Evergreen, so I see, you know, the congestion there.
Well, and it's with the kids and
Mhm.
that's just,
Yeah,
scary.
May I comment?
Sir,
To that point, I have met with interim superintendent Jennifer Carcello. Is that how you say your last name?
Mhm.
And that was one of the topics of conversation, is that how can we fix traffic between East and the junior high?
Yeah,
So,
that was a big carry on Facebook, and a lot of people had opinions about it, and it was.
I have children that attend the junior high, and we see there, my wife works at East, so we see that every day. Just know that it's at my level, we're talking about that with the superintendent at that
Well,
level.
it's reassuring, because that has been, it's been years, it's been problems.
Yeah. So there's no easy solutions though.
But the opportunity has to come up where you have any leverage, and that's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is just temporary, just to get us some more space there so that it's not holding up Alder. But, you know, I think you're thinking more long-term, at least, I mean, when I say long-term, I mean, if it involves like roundabouts or something like that, it's gonna be like nothing that we can do on this review, but at least this gives us something to start with. So as that unfolds, I will make sure and put that in my report and follow up with that, because I know that's been a big thing of contention in the community. The other thing I wanna point out is the FEMA floodplain management for the Wilson River training structure. There is no structure, it's just the levee, the existing levee that's there. That went out for public notice last week. They made that threshold again where it's already existing. We'll go through the flood hazard development process, and then a lot of that's been eroded. It was built in 1952 by Army Corps. And the studies show that moles and different things have created holes in the bottom of that, and so they're gonna go in and put in riprap and plant willows and strengthen that. Right behind Tillamook Inn, the old Shiloh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's just like a 1,000-foot section there, and then part of the ODOT right away where it turns the corner there on 101. That little section's gonna get fixed, cause there's just a lot of undermining.
Fixed as in redone.
County,
Not
yeah.
taken out like done the lower.
No, so the county is in charge of maintaining that, and when they got calls that on the last few floods, there's some leakage coming through. They were like, yeah, we need to repair this, so they have engineers out there working, and they're gonna create, they're working with Oregon Fish and Wildlife and Army Corps and DSL, and they're gonna get riprap back in there to the existing height and shape that it once was, and then plant, I think, 800 willows along there, so there's gonna be a lot of reinforcement.
I fished that. It looks fun.
So anyway, that's still open for public comment. I think it ended today at 4 o'clock, and so I'll have my decision Monday or Tuesday, for them on that. And then, one of the other big ones, most of these are just small things. There has been a, issue with the garage that was over on 4th Street in Stillwell. It's been boarded up for years. And finally, we had a group of volunteers that are wanting to take that down because it's become a home for transients and it's almost falling in, so it's a safety issue. So I thought that was really cool that a group of volunteers decided to help the lady out because she's on a fixed income and get that removed. So,
It's happening tomorrow.
yeah. Other than that, there isn't really huge things to highlight. There weren't any pre-apps. I do have a pre-app coming through this month, which isn't on this report, but since we're here, in 2 weeks, we'll be reviewing, a new commercial, which will come before you guys if they decide to turn in their final application. It's I believe there's a Pet Mart or something. It's not Pet Smart, but it's like a pet mart of some kind, with a retail piece, open vacant for a future retailer. Right there at McDonald's, the empty Ford lot. So more to come on that as that unfolds.
Can they build in there?
It's flood hazard development, so they gotta jump through the hoops. They wanna pay all the engineering costs and the habitat assessment and everything else.
Wow.
Yeah, once they find out what's entailed, they may change their mind and not do it.
Find an existing building.
That seems like an ideal location.
Yeah, well, and ODOT has to grant them a right of, an access, and I can't imagine with all the accidents we have there right now with the shared driveway that they're gonna allow one more business to share off that, so we'll see what ODOT has to say. Other than that, if you guys have any questions on anything else that's listed in here, I'd be happy to address those.
Okay. You want to move to the housing commission report?
I didn't have one in the packet this time because I'm just gonna do a verbal. We had met for like a 5-hour meeting this month, and it was our annual housing, where we grant money to developers around the community. We had 8 applicants this year, 2 from Bay City, 1 from Tillamook, 3 from Nehalem, 1 from Manzanita, and 1 from Beaver. And we met again today to go over our recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners, and all but 1 is receiving funding or is recommended to the commission to receive funding. And so we've got quite a few projects around the area, a lot of mixed housing, a lot of cottage clusters. They're taking advantage of the new middle housing with cottage clusters. Tillamook Bay Commons was in there. I had to recuse myself from that vote, obviously, because I review those. But it looks like theirs is moving forward as long as they get all their funding. They're still working through Brownsfield and the Merle program, the revolving loan fund. they're still doing that. And then there was my two favorite out of there, were probably the Thompson Springs, which were for handicap accessible units that can be sold to each one, and they're keeping them at 40% AMI, which I thought was great.
Those are cottage.
Little cottage clusters, yeah, so for vets and disabled, they'll be able to actually purchase the homes at a 40%. And then when they go to resell, they have a cap on what they can resell at. So I thought that was a really cool community project that they're doing up in Nehalem.
I'm actually the new executive director for Sammy's Place,
Nice.
but I'm not fully up to speed on the project yet. That would be Julie's project.
And then my second favorite was the schoolhouse flats in Beaver. They are going to rehab the Beaver School and turn it into housing units, but they're also gonna take advantage of the gym that's in there. Utilize the gym and team up with YMCA to be able to use that for South County sports, and then also keep a library in there and team up with the county library. So they'll have community stuff there as well as livable units. So I thought that was a really great project. And Kingfishers, I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, they built a new project down in Pacific City, and he'll be heading up that project for the Beaver School. So that was a
Nice to
cool
see it
rehab of that.
utilized.
Yes, instead of just torn down, I was glad to see that. I played a lot of games in that gym as growing up, so that was cool to see.
Favorite school,
Yeah,
yeah, I went to the first 3 weeks, great school.
All right, any items of commission concern? Or announcements? Future agenda items,
nothing yet.
nothing yet? If nobody has any other comments, adjourn the meeting.